Hi guys, Shane here from 62 Sports. Today I have the pleasure of catching up with my friend Sean Walsh, who's just returned from India for the international, or the ICC sanctioned Deaf World Cup. Australia unfortunately missed out on making the final in the tournament, but I just wanted to catch up with Sean today to see how everything went on the trip over there. We've been talking for about 5 months about, this tournament's coming and it's coming and it's coming, and now it's been. So just wanted to catch up and see, all the hard work we did. Did we do enough work? Get some feedback about the culture and some lessons learned, sort of to move on for next time. So, g'day, mate.
How are you, mate?
It's good to have you back.
Good to be back, mate.
Yeah.
It's an incredible experience that I'll never ever forget.
Yeah, I'll bet.
From the build up to the lead up to training to everything to having an insight into what it's like to be a professional cricketer for 6 months of my life. But it was something I'll never ever forget. Yeah.
So I guess going back 5 months ago when we first caught up and had a bite to eat and you said this was coming, you've worked with the guys at Queensland Cricket and with Cricket Australia. So do you think that you had a plan in place over that period to prepare yourself physically and mentally for the tour?
Yeah. So when we first caught up, it was probably about 6 months out. For me then, it was very much about making sure that I'd done absolutely everything possible physically, mentally and skill-wise before I go over to make sure that I ticked all the boxes. That started off with getting a personal trainer. I was working with Glenn Hansen at Vector Health, who was absolutely awesome for me. And then obviously working on my skill development with yourself, working on just little things about the game that you don't usually get at a club training or stuff like that. And even with private coaches, it's good to have a mate who knows your game but also knows you as a person as well. And we really clicked. I think that that's a big thing that you need in a private coach or something like that, is someone who can help you in more ways than one. I think that it was enormous help to me, and I definitely could tell when I went over there that I absolutely ticked every single box.
That's good.
I was really comfortable with my preparation. The only thing that I look back now, maybe I peaked a little early. But that's the first time experience. Obviously, we've got a couple more tours in the new year.
Yeah, I think that's probably something that amateur athletes and guys that just play cricket weekend in and weekend out across the country probably don't have to worry about necessarily too much. But I think, when you're playing a full international schedule, like you guys will be doing over the next sort of 12 to 18 months, is that you need to understand when you need to peak and when you need to rest and how you get yourself from that bottom of the rest period up again. So
100%. And that's something coming back that we're really working on at the moment, is making sure that I'm refreshed mentally and physically. Just by getting away from the game, and it's pretty hard to get away from the game in the middle of December, when
especially when you love it so much.
That's right. And it's such a massive part of my life, and stepping away from it's been really good. I feel really refreshed. It's only been a week or so, but over the Christmas period I'll take some time off. I'll probably still watch the game, watch the test matches and whatnot. But in terms of my own physical and mental, I suppose, recovery, that this needs to happen, because again, hit the ground running in January and then don't stop again until November. So when you have these little pockets in the schedule that you can have time off, you've really got to make sure that you take the most of it.
Yeah, right. That's awesome. So a lot of people probably won't be aware that there is an Australian deaf cricket team, that there was a Deaf World Cup. So is this the first one? Have there been many?
Yeah, so that was the second T20 Deaf World Cup. The first that we've been under the ICC banner. It was the first time since 2005 Australia had put a Deaf Cricket World Cup team together, and it was the first time since 2011 there's been an Australian deaf cricket side selected. So me only being 21, it was my first opportunity to actually be put up for selection. Because 2011 I was fresh out of nappies, so
still a youngster.
So that was a great opportunity for me to be able to more than anything, just be able to see what elite level cricket is. and the standard of cricket was amazing.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I'd comfortably say, like, our Australian side could beat any regional A-grade side.
Yeah.
We had some outstanding players. We've got Sydney A-graders, we've got Brisbane A-graders, we've got, just even the guys who played 100 games for Australia.
Yeah.
It's just the experience of just playing with those guys.
Yeah.
And then obviously playing against guys from Sri Lanka and India who play, who a couple of guys from the Indian side played Ranji Trophy.
Mm-hmm.
So the level of cricket was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I think that me personally, I'll be so much better for the run knowing that I can compete against those guys, but also that I'm good enough to be at that level. And that's the thing that I've been lucky enough to be mentored by Nathan Lyon for about 3 or 4 years
the
now.
GOAT.
The
Killing
GOAT,
it.
the great man. And he lets you know about it too.
Modest.
He loves it. But I was talking to him about 3 or 4 weeks before I went away on the phone. I said to him, mate, I need some advice on how to be comfortable at international level. And he said, it doesn't take long, but it takes a long time at the same time.
Yep.
He said, at that level, you've got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yep.
And knowing that it takes a long time for you to feel comfortable at that level, because that's such a massive step up that, every wicket, every run, enjoy it, because, if you step back and go, that's amazing, I just took a wicket for Australia, I've even playing one game for Australia, like they say that in the baggy green presentations, that, or T20 presentation or one day presentation, that any game you play for Australia, you've got a cap number. And my T20 cap number, deaf cricket number for Australia is 27.
Yep. And
that'll be a special number for me forever now.
Forever,
I'm actually just booked in to get it tattooed. So that's how much it means.
Yeah, I think that's incredible. I mean, 62 is something that it means an awful lot to me as well. So I think it's great to be able to have something like that means a lot to you, and you keep it with you for the rest of your life.
That's right. And that cap presentation was the most amazing experience for me. So our vice captain, Lou Trudgett, who's actually played deaf cricket for Australia since 1994.
Wow. Definitely a veteran then.
He played at 13.
Holy moly.
Yep.
Wow.
So he played for Australia at 13. He's played A-grade cricket for Parramatta for 5 years.
Yep.
The only hearing impaired person to ever play Premier grade cricket for Parramatta. The challenges that he's gone through in his career, being a fully deaf cricketer, playing A-grade and, playing against the likes of Clark, Watson, rattle off all the names.
Yeah.
He spoke about the enormity of what it means to play for Australia, but what it means to represent the deaf people in Australia. And, I just say I'm lucky I had my sunglasses on, because there was definitely a few tears.
Yeah.
Because, it was an amazing experience and something I'll never forget.
And that sort of a good segue into, I guess, what I wanted to touch on as well is just the cultural differences between Australia. We're very, I guess, predominantly, I think we're a very accepting nation, and we have a lot of diversity across sport, and things are improving. I mean, there's still work to do to get some of those minorities access, but I know one of the hashtags that's used a lot for any of the social media stuff for the deaf cricket's been a game for all.
Yep.
And I think that's a brilliant concept for Cricket Australia to embrace. So heading from our culture where, everything is diverse and like that to a country where cricket's, I guess, in my perception, it's the only thing that exists over there based on what I see in the media and watching cricket telecasts. So from, weather, humidity, the air, because I know you expressed some concern before you left about it was, basically smoking a pack of cigarettes a day, just breathing in the air, the food. So just take us through that for a little bit.
Yeah. India, mate, the biggest thing I can say about my experience in India is how lucky we are in Australia. Is the biggest thing I've taken away from it. How in India, there's definitely no middle class. You're either filthy rich or filthy poor.
Yeah, right.
There's no in between, there's no welfare, there's nothing. So there's people, we were lucky enough to go to a place called Agra, which is actually the Taj Mahal, the city of the Taj Mahal. We went to the Taj Mahal. And driving up to the Taj Mahal, you see this beautiful statue, and obviously, this amazing, place that's a World Heritage listed, one of the 7 wonders of the world, And on the back end of it, there was real estate. And these houses, something out of Hollywood, they were amazing. They'd be multi-million-dollar houses. And then another 500 metres off the other side of the mountain, there's beggars lying there on the ground with children crying, starving. And you go, that's...
Breaks your heart.
That's literally India in a nutshell, where culturally with cricket is so massive over there. It's hard to describe in words what cricket means to them, because a good story I could tell what that is, we were lucky enough to go to the deaf school in Delhi and do a player appearance, which and that's funny that we're doing player appearances because we're nobodies, but we got there and there was 600 kids waiting at the front gate for us, and like the passion that they have for the game was amazing, because these people are in India, obviously with money and access to things. There's never been a cochlear implant program in India. So if and their culture is one that they believe, if you are, because obviously with the religious beliefs in India, that if you're born deaf, that's just the way that you are, because that's the way you've been created.
Nice. So
they don't actually believe in cochlear implants or hearing aids. So they're deaf. There was a deaf school of 900 kids, and there was one with a hearing aid or a cochlear implant. So they all signed. And the problem with that is, for us coming over, is that each country has a different sign language. So we literally had no way to communicate with these kids except for, like a wave and a hug or whatever. So first 30 minutes we're fumbling through, taking a lot of photos. It was pretty cool. You felt like Justin Bieber. It was pretty funny. And then we're trying to communicate with these kids and struggling. Then as soon as the cricket bat come out, the universal language of cricket just spoke. It was amazing. Like, these kids there was hundreds and hundreds of kids just lining up to have a bat, have a bowl. And I was lucky enough that Kookaburra actually gave me an extra cricket bat to take over there and leave over there. So we got it signed by all the players and gave it away to the school.
Cool.
And that was an amazing thing to do, just to see the gratitude on the kids' faces for something as little as a cricket bat that a lot of kids here in Australia would take for granted. Was just amazing, mate.
I think it's really great to see, and I know I've seen the Australian cricket do it in the media as well, where wherever they travel to those places and there are underprivileged areas, they make sure they get out there and they always leave the place in a better standard than what they got there in, and it's always great to deliver that back to them.
100%, and that's the biggest thing that we were lucky enough to have Steve Wall come and speak to us at our camp in April.
No, stop. He's the greatest. He is the greatest.
On Skype, so he wasn't actually there in the flesh, but still got a chance to speak to the great man.
That. Yeah.
About the experience of India before we go, because obviously Steve Wall went on 4 tours of India, and he said the biggest thing you can do is just embrace it. If you go over there, fight the culture, because it's fight this, fight that, you're going to go belly up, because it's just so different. Everything's so different and so diversely, I suppose, but the way of life is just so different. If you go over there and try and live like you would here, it's not going to work.
It's not possible.
But if you just go with an open mind and try and really experience India, and that's what we try to do, and I think experiences like the markets at Old Delhi and having, shops that are, 2 by 2, people lying on a mattress, begging you to come into their shop, and like little things like that. The traffic was another thing. Was just insane in Delhi. Like, it's
bit different to Rockhampton in central Queensland, hey?
So different to Rockhampton.
So what about the food? I guess we had a bit of a chat off camera. So that's probably one of the stereotypically any touring countries seem to struggle initially with the food and the effect that then has on your bowels. So you did struggle?
Yeah, I did. First couple of days, I was like, I'm really going to try it on here. Had a Rogan Josh. Didn't go down that well. we were firing from all cylinders
Yep.
for the next 24 hours.
As you'd expect.
Got the old Delhi belly for a couple of days.
So what, about a 48-hour recovery?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is that something you think in future tours? I guess you're not going back to India at this point over the next 2 years, but I know you are going to South Africa, and that's probably you're going to encounter some similar things. Is that something that Cricket Australia factors into a tour before you go there? That you're not going to arrive and start playing straight away because you need to acclimatise and get used to things like that?
100%. And Cricket Australia were great with our preparation. I think we had the absolute perfect preparation over there for you. So the way they mapped it out, it was perfect. Rest days when we needed a rest day, because you'd feel at the end of the training session, you're like, oh, I really need a rest. Rest day was perfect. We had 3 net sessions. We had 3 practice games. We had a couple of days of being a tourist as well, and they just fit everything. They fitted everything in perfectly. The preparation. We went over there knowing not exactly what to expect, but what we could have encountered, and we didn't go in. They didn't just throw us straight in the deep end and go swim. They kind of gave us a kick forward and went, go yourself.
So you had some warm-up games there.
Yep.
So who were they against?
Yeah. So the first game we played against was a local Ranji under-19 Ranji Trophy side.
Yep.
And that went pretty well for me personally. Ended up taking a hat-trick in that game.
Nice.
Which was pretty incredible. But my first game in India for Australia.
And you got a win?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and then played India twice because unfortunately with the climate of, and I'm not going to comment too much on the Indian government and Indian politics, obviously, because that's a very
sensitive,
very grey area. But what happened was the Pakistan team and the Bangladeshi team had their visas rejected.
All right.
By the immigrations in India, which was really unfortunate, which took our World Cup from 7 to 5 teams.
Yep.
Which was really tough. So pretty much buggered our whole preparation up for 3 or 4 days. So we ended up having an extra 2 days of warm up for the World Cup, which meant that by the time the first game come along, we're kind of like, I think it was 10 days of preparation before we actually played a proper game.
Itching to play and get out there.
Yeah, so we were all itching to play, and then the experience of playing game after game after game, a few of the guys struggle with.
Yep.
But for me, luckily, I was talking to our coaches about this. Growing up in Central Queensland, obviously not the biggest area, and being a half decent cricketer growing up in Central Queensland, you get opportunities to play state titles.
Yep.
And for me, at 12 years old, 12 through to 16, to be playing in a state championships where you play 50 over games for 5 days straight, really gave me a good preparation for the World Cup, knowing how to back up game after game after game. We're saying that we had incredible medical staff there. We had Chris Evans, our physio, who worked with New South Wales, the second 11 team, Sydney Thunder, who was amazing. Got us on the park, kept us on the park. Dr. Sherwin who's the Queensland Reds doctor. Yeah. Another amazing guy who's incredible in his field. He was there as well, and the whole medical staff was just amazing. We had 7 guys get gastro, and not one missed a game. Yeah, okay. They the way they managed it. Yep, perfect. We had guys with niggles who just need to be nursed. A good example of that is our captain Andrew Park. Played the last week of the World Cup with a hairline fracture in his hand. What? Got a caught and bowled. Didn't react to it. Got him on the back of the hand. They tapped it up. Tough bloke gel, and then played the next week with a broken arm. Wow. It'll go down in folklore. But, that's kind of a good indication of how hungry our team was. And I think that the next tours, we had 9 guys make their debut for Australia. That's hard to try and be competitive when you've got that many. But now we've all had a taste of it. Yeah. We know what the level is, and I think we'll be so much better for the run. Yeah. So let's get into the games a little bit. So you guys didn't end up making it through to the final, which is unfortunate. Yeah. So who won the tournament in the end? So Sri Lanka beat India in the final. Sri Lanka was standing outside the whole time. They won the Asia Cup, which was played between India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nepal, the UAE.
Yep.
So they have that comp biannually. So they were the team to beat, and they proved to be that. We played them in the first game. Probably got them at a good time, but were unlucky. We bowled them out for over 160. Young Zach King from Victoria ended up taking 5 for 20.
Wow.
And a hat trick.
I think I saw some of that on Facebook. Yeah.
In his first game for Australia, and he's an incredible human being. That kid, what he's been through in life with, with deformities and stuff like that, to be able to, to work his ass off in the last 12 months to get to where he is, because he wasn't in our best 20 players 12 months ago.
Yeah, right.
Went away, and he was probably our best player in India. So we were 3 for 110, looking all right. We lost Luke from an amazing specky catch on the boundary, and then we lost the last 6 wickets for about 20 runs.
Yeah.
They're an incredible bowling attack. And that's the thing about international cricket, that you learn very quickly that even playing A grade here in Rocky, you're going to get a let off with bowlers.
A change bowler comes on and you get that opportunity to relax a little bit, whereas at the next level, even in deaf cricket, you're not getting that.
You're not getting
that rest.
That easy bowler.
Yeah.
That easier bowler, that let off, have a few runs here and that over.
Yeah.
Every single delivery out of the 120 were perfect.
Yeah, right.
Because you didn't get the let up the whole time, and that's the biggest thing we learnt with our bowling, is you can't afford to have off overs.
Yeah. Especially
in 2020 cricket, where it's, one over can change a game, and that over changes the whole game. There, we were cruising 3 for 110. Need to run a ball with, and probably our 2 best batsmen still to come.
A couple of wickets.
One catch changed the whole game.
Yeah.
That was a great learning experience for us, where you don't have to have the butt of the ball in your hand or at the bowling crease to change a game. Where we had a goal to be the number 1 fielding team in the world, and for the most part, we probably fell short of that. So that's probably something that we can improve.
Can learn on. Yeah, absolutely. So personally, how did you? Do you feel like you adapted to the conditions well? Did you bowl well? What is there anything? Probably give me similar to what we do at training. Give me something that you were really strong at over there, and something that you found a weakness in.
Yeah, it took me a while to work out. The biggest thing for me that took me 3 or 4 games to work out was the pace I had to bowl, needed to bowl, and the length.
Yep.
As an off spinner in Australia, I bowl a very attacking line of length outside the off stump. Try and use my height and bounce by spinning up the back of the ball.
Yep.
Something that I believe in a lot. Is getting up the back of the ball and getting as much overspin on the ball as I can. And I bowled the first couple of games like that in India, and found that the wicket was quite slow.
Yep.
So the batsmen, when I bowled that really good top of off stump Australian length, they'd just get back and work. Or they'd use their feet and get it forward, where obviously they grow up, playing spin on those wickets. And the adjustment I made between probably the third warm-up game and the first pool game, I probably bowled about 5 kilometres quicker and bowled a lot more flatter. With 2020, obviously, they're trying to get you 30 rows back every ball. I found that we had a plan to bowl to a certain field, and that worked perfection. When I first got over there, I tried to bowl to take wickets, and then when we sat down with the coaches after the second warm-up game and went, okay, what are we going to do here? So I got that 4 in the first game, and then went none for 30 against India in 3 overs, and then went none for 20 in 4 overs. Right. I didn't take the wicket for a couple of games, and I was pretty frustrated with how I was bowling.
Yeah.
So we sat down and we went, how are we going to work this out? Like, how are we going to change it? And we said, the coaches said to me, your only KPI for the next 2 games is to go for less than 9 runs and over. And that, you're kind of almost like, okay, that's a bit of a,
Did you feel that took the pressure off a little bit? Or?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool.
For sure. And I ended up taking 3 for 3 for a 2 for.
Yeah, right.
In the next 3 games.
Yeah.
And by just taking that pressure off yourself, by trying to take wickets and just bowl economically and bowl the field, we had the old, 5 out. So I was literally just mid on, mid off, cover, mid wicket, and point out.
Yeah.
And they said, we just want you to bowl full
and straight. Yeah.
Just full and straight, and then your wicket ball is going to be the one that you pull back and bowl the Australian. We called it the Aussie ball.
Yeah.
You had to
Aussie ball.
You had to bowl an Indian length, and then your wicket ball was your Aussie ball.
Right.
Because it was that, the ball was that slow, and the wicket was that slow. Where if you're trying to bowl that ball every ball, incredible international batsman for a reason. Get back and knock you. And the other thing we found, because there was 3 spinners over there, 2 leggies and myself, and we had our little, the fast bowlers up there, cartel, and I think they're all big and cool.
Yeah.
So we had a little slow bowlers club, and we'd have dinner every night, and we'd talk about what we're going to do, and we the thing we found was the amount of we got swept, and I spoke to one of their coaches, and I said, "You've been noticing how much you've been sweeping us?" And they said, "Take that as a compliment. If you get swept, that's your best ball. Your best ball's getting swept. Where here in Australia, if you get swept, you're probably overpitched. Yeah. Or, you're probably a bit too wide.
It's not a big shot played.
That's right.
Especially in regional areas.
100%. And that's their way to combat your good ball instead of blocking it, because obviously 2020 cricket. So they sweep.
Yeah. Gives them that opportunity to score while they know that they're still protected from a dismissal. Yeah.
100%. And we ended up blocking off that sweep shot.
Yeah.
And then we found that they were trying to run down the hit through cover, and we got 3 or 4 wickets between the 3 of us.
Yeah, right.
Just by that one change of blocking off one area.
Take away that scoring opportunity.
That's right. And that gave us so much, confidence knowing that if you bowl to a plan, it doesn't matter whether you're playing A-grade cricket in a regional area, rep cricket, or playing cricket for Australia. Yeah. If you stick to a plan, have a plan, and execute a plan, you'll be all right. Shane Warne took 700 Test wickets for that reason.
Exceptional skill, but also, very good plans in place to dismiss every single batsman. That's right. Regardless of the format. Yeah.
That's right. And we were lucky that we had a lot of video analysis given to us before the start of the tournament.
Awesome.
So our assistant coaches, they went above and beyond. I don't know how Yobby found some of the footage, like pulling it from the deep corners of the internet. But we got cheat sheets on every batter.
Yep.
For that, to go in not willy-nilly and know who you're bowling to, and know the plan that we come up with, and that helped us so much.
I'm glad they don't have them in Rocky grade cricket, mate. Never score a run.
Exactly, you'd work out pretty quickly, wouldn't you?
Yeah. All right, so we're almost out of time. So I guess now that this is over, you said you're going to take a bit of time off through Christmas.
Yep.
Watch the Jets lose a few more games. What's next for the Australian team, or have you got some Queensland stuff coming up? Because I know we did speak that you've got South African and England tours coming up in the coming years. So what are you looking? What's your next goal? I guess what do we start working for next?
Yeah, so Cricket Australia, hopefully locking those tours in the next couple of months. So once that becomes official, it'll be training up for that. We've got the National Cricket Inclusion Championships on the 20th of January, which is the flagship tournament for disability cricket in Australia.
Yep. Where's that being held?
In Geelong.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know how many of you guys would have noticed it, but the 5th day of the Test match in Adelaide, the Sporting Chance Fund, that is pretty much a foundation by Lord Tavern of Cricket Australia, which funds the National Inclusion Championship.
All right.
So $2 from every ticket purchase on the last day went towards that.
Yep.
So that gave us about $40,000 from the 20,000 people that turned up on the last day.
That's brilliant.
Which pretty much means that we can go to this tournament, cost free.
Yeah.
So Geelong is going to be a great experience. It'll be my first time captaining Queensland.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that. At the age of 21, I didn't think it'd be coming so early, but
well done.
Saying that, I'm kind of old in deaf cricket. I've been playing.
You've been around for a while.
I played for Queensland when I was 13, so I've been playing cricket for 8 years in the system now, and to have the ex-captain there, who's Justin Bergen, who's probably been the biggest influence in my cricket career. Biggest mentor for me. He's actually playing as a vice. So he's kind of gone, we're going to hand it over, the 1 year maturation process where he's going to hand it over. He's going to still be there and need a hand.
To support you.
But
it's a good transition process.
That's right. Wants me to take the reins over, and that's something I can't wait for.
Awesome.
what we've learnt in the Australian team and more around the culture of the team, the Australian. So we had a catchphrase or a team value, respect, accountability and commitment. So RAC. So it actually was printed on the inside of our collars.
Yep.
And pretty much what that was how our values of the team. And that's something that I definitely want to take back to Queensland because, those values were something that, a couple of the boys learned the hard way where if you fall outside those
values,
there's
consequences.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Were there, and it's something that we can't wait for, mate. So the next 12 months are going to be even bigger. This is just the start of a 5-year process for the deaf team.
Yeah, good.
Now we've got a taste of it. We just want more, so can't wait.
Excellent. Brilliant. Thanks for coming in, mate. It's great to catch up with you. I look forward to getting back into some work in the new year and see what comes next.
Beautiful.
Cheers. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks for watching, guys. Hoping to bring you some more interviews over the coming year, along with a couple of other segments, including a podcast coming in 2019. So thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to leave some comments below, I'd really appreciate that. If you'd like to get in touch with Sean, he's got a massive social media profile, and he's a New York Jets supporter. Don't hold that against him. All right, have a good Christmas and New Year, and I'll catch you all later on. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, brother.